Dear diary, right, I've got 10 minutes. I'm on my lunch break. Right, I've got 10 minutes to say something mind blowing. Nah, it's not really gonna happen, is it? But Ken, I was just looking at this, right, and I was thinking, look at that high protein, legs, muscles, arms, workout, stuff like that. And I was thinking that it's really quite ridiculous, right? It's really quite ridiculous. It's really quite ridiculous how active I actually am. It's quite ridiculous. It's like I don't even need to cycle. Training diary, journal, right? I don't even need to cycle. I'm that fucking fit because I'm just active all the time. It's actually ridiculous when I think about it because I go, and it's good to take time out and to reflect and wonder what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, and in terms of the cycling endeavor, trying to get better, to be fucking brilliant next year, even more brilliant than I've already been. And essentially, what I'm saying is, cycle about 7-8 miles to work and cycle back. So cycle there, but obviously I've taken the car this week and I've just not really driven much, but cycle to work and back every week, and then doing labouring every day, 4 or 5 days on a good week, and you're doing all sorts of stuff, it all involves the legs, doesn't it? So I don't need a gym. My job is a big gym. It's a big playground. It's a big gym. Sometimes it feels like a jail, which is quite ridiculous, isn't it? Because one of the most beautiful gardens in the region, which you can't possibly show you around because it's too good for your pesky little eyes, But it's like they talk about cross training, don't they? Like if you want to get good at something, you don't obviously want to do too much, spread yourself too thin, as my mum says, but if there's nothing wrong with taking. I was talking to a friend about taking up swimming because I actually don't know how to swim. Isn't it funny, incidentally, how like explorers, all the folk that went around the world in a boat, most of them can't even swim? How funny is that? That's quite interesting and worthy of comment, isn't it? But they didn't need to swim because they didn't, but they still did all that. And it's a bit like me because all the cycling, I go, well, I still can't swim. And someone was saying that the swimming would definitely help in terms of the cross training, expanding your lung capacity, breathing, and just doing something different, even if it's just jet skiing, surfing, rock climbing, nothing too dangerous, because obviously I'm insured to high value because of what I'm doing, it's in the contract, but what I'm saying, it's like doing a bit of swimming would definitely, that's what I needed with the cycling. I needed, there was the danger of the burnout because as I say, I'm active all the time, so it gets to a point where you need time out, serious time out. And I think I hadn't really been taking little mini timeouts in all of that period. I mean, if we reflect, we're talking about the past 6 years, really, not really taking, and again, not really having had a holiday in like 30 odd years. 30 years. This is quite funny, isn't it? So the burnout thing, because the burnout happens because of doing too much. There's different factors involved in the burnout. One of them is no reward relative to the efforts you're putting in, and then other factors. But the burnout thing, so yeah, taking time out is quite necessary. But anyway, apart, you got to keep the thing alive, do different things, But I was just, I didn't, to keep the fitness, but I've really been quite surprised. I don't know why I would be surprised, but how much fitness was actually still there, after taking quite a long period out of the cycling, because but a lot of the work that I do involves the legs, you see, so the strength is still there, and all I need to do is it's a balance, isn't it? So what I'll do is I'll you know, this is the off season, is it? So you want to trickle along. It's a fine line. It's a delicate balance. So we want to build it like a slowly building female orgasm, and then come hard in the heat of battle, you know, sort of thing, you know. But you know, the level of fitness, as I say, is really quite there. It's really quite there, you know. Just by like walking up steps, doing wee jogs here and there, and as I say, use my legs every day and my arms, so I'm really quite fit. So I think the trick at this stage is to do is more self-control, as I've said before, trying to do a bit less than you think you need to do, you know, because as I say, all the accumulation adds up, and then there's the danger of the burnout. So really, it should be at least one day a week of doing absolutely fuck all, you know. That's really the trick, you know what I mean? But anyway, what I'm saying is, I was talking to someone else about hard drugs and all that thing, and obviously I don't do drugs, but I was saying it almost feels like I'm on hard drugs, you know, when you're that physically, you know, active all the time. You just feel like wired. The whole week I felt like I finished work and I felt like still buzzing, still like just got this energy, you know, because you know, physically active constantly, and it's really quite good. So I think if you can, part of the trick is if you can balance the cross training with the main discipline in quite a clever, balanced way, then you can keep the fitness, and you don't get too tired, and you know, you keep the whole thing going, you know, because I think part of the problem was what I was doing last winters, I was too keen. I'm an off-season type of person. It comes from my childhood, I think, you know, going to Coney Island and out of season, you know, kind of thing, like Cool Shaking That Me documentary. I used to go out on holiday out of season because my parents were weird. We took us on holiday in the autumn. So I think that part, and maybe it comes from being a Sagittarius, you know, December, you know, where you're born in the winter. So I'm an off-season type of person, you know. So, not really, but, you know, to me, maybe there's an element of that, you know, like in the off-season, I get excited to train in the winter and the autumn as that glorious potential, you know, the glorious blank canvas of all the possibilities that faces me, the big mat that's rolled out in front of me, empty mat or something like that, you know. And you go, how can I fill this up? So it's that glorious, excited feeling of, you know, but the danger, the problem is, what I did before is I would train really hard in the winter, overtrain in the winter, and you get to like February and you're already feeling really quite tired, as I said, like a war veteran with PTSD with dark, starry eyes. So I think essentially what I'm learning, and I think 2025 is going to be my best year because I've learned all the experience. You can't buy that. Well, you can with blood, sweat, tears, and you know. So I think when we come to the trick is, as I say, it's peaking at the right time. Obviously, it's peaking at the right time. But it's how do you do that? That is a big question. How do you peak at the right time? You could write a big fucking 250,000 words on that, you know? So just meditate on that. Just take a pause and think about that. How do you peak at the right time, right? And just imagine all the knowledge I have in that little, you know, in that little aspect. You know, how do you peak at the right time? You got to keep the train, keep the, you know, the balance, you know, keep the buzz, keep the excitement, keep it without doing too much. But anyway, as I say, I'm just really feeling quite buzzing because, as I say, I'm working physically every day, and that makes me feel like I'm winning anyway, and I didn't need to really cycle very much as well. And I was saying to my brother as well, it feels like almost like you could just cycle to work and back every day, and that would be enough to keep fitness for, you know, until you get to December, and then you'll be up the mileage and all that kind of thing. But you can't, you know, there's a nice fancy car that's just come out. I've never seen that car before, again. But you can't, I mean, like, you can hashtag muscles, motivation, fitness, arms, biceps, legs, and anything else. Came at the fucking mean, like,